Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing two new cartridges, the 6.8 Western, and I'm going to compare it to the 6.5 PRC. We're going to look at the ballistics to see which one is superior, which one might be a better big game cartridge. And I'm going to tell you which one I would prefer. Hope you guys enjoy the video. The 6.5 PRC initial development started in 2013. It was introduced to the public in 2018. The whole point of this is, Hornady took the great characteristics of the 6.5 Creedmoor and made a Magnum version. So it's a short Magnum. The parent case is the 300 Ruger Compact Magnum, neck down to 6.5 millimeter. And what you're going to find on average is about velocities roughly 300, maybe 400 feet per second faster than a 6.5 Creedmoor. It is a very popular case. It is a very popular cartridge right now. It's extremely hard to find factory ammo for it right now in my area. But let's go ahead and just see the performance in 140 grain. And today we're going to look at the 142 AccuBond long range. When you hand load it, you can get velocities that are just a little over 3,100 feet per second. So again, the Creedmoor, you're going to get a little over 2,700 feet per second with the same weight. So as I said, you could possibly get 400 feet per second faster than a Creedmoor. As I said, it's a very popular cartridge right now. I think what makes it so popular is that you get these really high BC bullets in 6.5, like the Creedmoor, but this is a much better hunting cartridge than the Creedmoor because you are going to get quite a bit more energy and velocity from it. 6.8 Western was introduced early 2021. It was co-developed by Browning and Winchester. The cartridge's parent case is the 270 Winchester Short Magnum. So why was the 6.8 Western created? Well, Browning and Winchester wanted to introduce a 270 Magnum that could shoot high BC bullets. And so their rifles have a fast twist rate, like it's a 1 in 8.5 or 1 in 8. And so you could shoot 165 grain, 175 grain bullets. And that was kind of the whole point, is a long distance 270 cartridge. Unfortunately, up to this point, there really isn't any reloading data for the 6.8 Western. So you're kind of stuck experimenting, or you get factory ammo. Let me show you the factory ammo. So a popular bullet is a 165 grain AccuBond long range, and that's going 2970. Another hunting bullet is the 175 grain Sierra Game Changer, and then they have a all copper bullet, a 162 grain, that's going around 2875, and the 175 is going 2825. So they're respectable velocities. Let's go ahead and look at the 6.5 PRC ballistics. We're using the 142 grain AccuBond long range with an extremely good BC of 0.625, the G1 BC. And we're using factory ammo. And it's going 2,900 feet per second. That does seem a little slow. Hornady claims you can get over 3,100 feet per second when you hand load it. But since the 6.8 Western doesn't have any load data, we're going to try to make it as fair as possible and use factory ammo. And I wanted to use the Nosler AccuBond because I think it's just a better hunting bullet than the ELDX. Because Hornady does make some factory ammo that goes faster than this with about the same weight bullet in their ELDX bullet. Anyway, it has 2652 foot-pounds of energy, recoil around 21. It's going to be around the same as a 30-06. It has about the same powder capacity as a 30-06. It might have a little bit more. And then let's just take this out to 400 yards. And it's going 2,331 feet per second. The energy is pretty darn good. It's a really high BC bullet. It's 1,700 foot-pounds of energy. And it's a pretty flat shooting bullet too. Only 25 inches of drop when zeroed at 100. Now let's take this out to see how far you can take it before you hit 1,500 foot-pounds. And only 100 more yards. So you're going to have about 1,500 foot-pounds of energy at 500 yards and 45.5 inches of drop. So it's respectable. But when you hand load it, it's going to be a bit better. But let's go ahead and look at the 6.8 Western. Okay, with the 6.8 Western, we're going to use the 165 grain Accubon long range, very similar BC, .620. Muzzle velocity, it's going 2,970 feet per second. So it's going 70 feet per second more, and it's almost 20 grains heavier of a bullet. So the energy is going to be a bit more. So if you look at the energy, it's 3,200 foot-pounds. And with that more power, you're going to get more recoil. So 25 pounds of recoil. Then let's take this out to 400. It's going almost 2,400 feet per second and almost 2,100 foot-pounds. And so you're seeing about a 300 foot-pound advantage at 400 yards with the 6.8 Western. And there's only 23.87 inches of drop, so it beats it by a little bit over an inch over the 6.5 PRC. And then let's just see, let's take this out to where it roughly hits its 1,500 foot-pounds. And you can get this out to a little over 600 yards. So at 600 yards, you still have 1,600 foot-pounds of energy. And the drop at 500, since that we looked at for the 6.5 PRC, again, it beats it just a little bit, but they're very similar. So as far as flat shooting cartridges, they're really the same in factory ammo. But you're going to get 100, maybe 125, maybe 150 yard advantage in energy. And so, yeah, the 6.8 Western's a little bit better of a big game cartridge. Now, before I end the video, I just want to talk about 3 more things that I think is important when it comes to these as hunting cartridges. Now, as I just said, I do think the 6.8 Western is a better big game cartridge. You're going to be able to shoot bigger bullets, shoot up to 170, maybe 175. And they're going just a little bit faster than what the 6.5 PRC can put out. The next thing I want to talk about is the recoil. Now, in the ballistic charts, you saw it. The 6.5 PRC has about 21 pounds of recoil and around an 8-pound rifle without a break. And the 6.8 Western has around 25 pounds of recoil without a break in an 8-pound rifle. Now, experts say that the average person can tolerate recoil that's around a 30-06. Anything more and, well, it's just not enjoyable to shoot and you're going to start flinching. And the 6.5 PRC matches recoil with the 30-06. So I think this is a pretty tolerable cartridge to shoot. Now the 6.8 Western, I wouldn't call it a high recoiling cartridge, but it's going to be harder to shoot for the average person because of the more recoil. Lastly, let's talk about longevity for each of these cartridges. PRC. Well, I think we're kind of in the craze for the 6.5 PRC right now. As I've said, in my area, I have not seen factory ammo for it in years. I think people are going crazy about this cartridge, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. It's a really good cartridge. It's very accurate, and it's fixing the shortcomings that are the 6.5 Creedmoor with its velocity and power and energy. Now, 6.8 Western. Other YouTubers have talked about this, where they have talked about how no one's really supporting the 6.8 Western other than those that made it. So Browning and Winchester. So as far as longevity goes, I think you're going to always find more rifles in 6.5 PRC. You're going to see a lot more different factory ammo made from all sorts of companies. I mean, in 6.8 Western right now, the only factory ammo you can get is from Winchester and Browning. So I do worry a little bit about the 6.8 Western's longevity. Now, if you forced me to pick a cartridge between these two, I'm always going to go for the little bit more power. So I would have to say the 6.8 Western would be my pick. But I do worry about the 6.8 Western. But then again, Browning and Winchester, they're big companies. At worst, the 6.8 Western is just going to turn into another 270 WSM that's kind of dead, but still there, if you know what I mean. But let me know what you guys would pick between these two. Are you going to pick the more popular 6.5 PRC or the 6.8 Western? Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.